So welcome to this week. This week, we're going to take a look at information technology professionals and how ethics applies in that context. So there are several professional organizations that actually have published codes of ethics, things that people who belong to the organization or that are in certain professions should consider, kind of the rules of the road. Like, how do you behave when you're interacting with customers, with employers, with different groups of people, different stakeholders that you're working with? So I think you might find it interesting to compare those codes, see if there's anything in common. Like, are there a couple of things that everybody says, this is ethical behavior, or oops, no, that's not ethical behavior? Take a look and see what you think. We're also going to jump into our Zoom session this week where we're going to consider the trolley dilemma. And you have a resource this week about the trolley problem. Like, what's the problem with the trolley problem? And there's a video embedded in that, or actually that's an audio, so you can listen to it. I like the way it's narrated. You can listen to it if you don't want to read the whole thing. It should only take you like 20 minutes anyhow. And there is a new piece of software I'm going to have you experiment with this week and explore called Kialo, because that's something that we're going to be using moving forward as we decide some of our topics and maybe even for some of our discussions on different categories that we look at. So there's a lot going on. Let me jump into screen share, show you around, and then just let you get busy and get to work. So always try to look at the website in your laptop or desktop first time around, because mobile probably won't show all of this information that ties everything together, the lesson part of what's online. And anyhow, this is just saying this is what we're going to look at, is ethics with the IT professionals. Now, in the think section, why should everyone in tech even care about the code of ethics? This guy's actually kind of funny in sort of a geeky, nerdy sort of way, and it's not a very long video. So I think you'll find that interesting. And then we're going to have one more look at ethics defined. I know we've sort of hit this every week. What I'm trying to get you to do is kind of look at different resources and see, what do they say about ethics? Like, why is this a big deal? And what is it in the first place? And as you look at these different definitions, you can start to build your own definition. It's kind of like looking at a baseball and a basketball and a football and a soccer ball and a volleyball and a tennis ball and a golf ball. And you can sort, and maybe not a football, well, but a football is a ball. So there are some things in common. But as you look at these different balls, you begin to define for yourself, like, what is a ball, right? Well, something round is something you play with. There's lots of, although there are exceptions, like footballs aren't round. Anyhow, that's the same idea here. I'm getting you to look at all the way around at different definitions of ethics so you can start to develop one that works for you. And then there's this trolley problem. And so I think you'll find that sort of interesting, because there's a problem with the trolley problem, and that's going to be one of our topics this week in Zoom. Down in the Learn section, I'm going to work backwards. There's 3 different organizations that have to do with technology in some manner. And they all have a code of ethics. So I want you to go through those. I want you to read those. I want you to find what's common, find what's different. See if you can start making some categorizations of things that in technology are considered ethical behavior. This next one is using Kialo, and there's several resources here. Kialo is really interesting. I'll give you a little bit about what it is. You should know that there's 2 different but related Kialo sites. So there's kialo.com and kialo-edu.com. The kialo.com is going to be a good place to explore the different debates they have, just to get an idea of how things are set up. See if you can find one that's active, because that'll give you a better picture of how it works. Most everything there is public, as far as I know. The kialo.edu is the school site that teachers can use, and most things there are not public. They're within the context of a classroom, a virtual classroom. And so I put both of them there for you to explore. The links here. There's a tour of Kialo with a really nice short video that gives an overview of what it's all about, plus some other information. If you want to, you can jump over to the Kialo that we did in the spring to debate the very thing that you all will be debating. And it was really fun to watch as it built out. So when you first go there, I think it'll ask you to create an account, which you should do because we're going to need it anyhow. And then I think it brings you to the summary page where you'll be able to see a very interesting chart. I don't know if I wouldn't call it a pie chart. It's a really interesting chart. So explore that and then click off of that and you can see basically, especially after you take the tour, you'll know what you're looking at. And you can see how we used it in the spring and how we'll probably use it this spring. So, and then there's just a couple of other resources. So a basic Kialo video guide, that's more of a how to use it. The education tour is mostly the same as the regular tour. And then there's a longer video, mostly aimed at teachers. There's really not a lot of student resources out there, which I found very interesting. Maybe I'll have to make one. Anyhow, how to have a classroom debate on Kialo. So that's sort of what we're going to do. So that'll give you some good ideas there. And then finally, this last page is just an article on tips and tricks for using Kialo. So I feel like I've said the word Kialo about 25 times in the last 3 minutes, but it's really interesting. We really, really liked it when we used it last spring. And so I'm excited to use it again. And then we've just got our week 4 insights and week 4 Zoom chats. So if you haven't signed up already, almost everybody has. Make sure you get signed up for that because this is where the best part of the class is. This is where we get to chew over ideas and try things out and debate things a little bit. And we'll talk about kind of the rules of the road because we do have our own code of ethics for how to engage in conversations here in the class. But to be best prepared for the Zoom sessions this week, you really need to try to connect on a computer, on a laptop, desktop. A tablet might work, but I can tell you mobile probably won't work. It'll be a lot harder because we're going to play the Trolley Dilemma game. And so you need to be able to kind of have a screen up with that and a screen up with your breakout room. And it'll be just much better if you're connected on computer. So I'm looking forward to this because the Trolley Dilemma game is weird, but it's fun. And it makes some really good points. We're going to have some good discussion out of this. And then we'll start the process of talking about what should be our class choice topic. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all in Zoom this week.